And part 3 of, what is it? The Rockingham Bypass Construction Tour Season 2. We're on Crestview Drive now. Need to set my mileage meter again. Well, got a couple trees that look the fall colors there. But yeah, we're this part of North Carolina, you see a really large variety of the trees. Of course, you got your longleaf pine, you got your regular deciduous trees that you see all up north that lose their leaves this time of year. And then you got a few palm trees scattered about too. So, there you go. And turn on Dave King's Road. And another sign that tells us we're heading to a construction zone. Yay! And if you watch last year's video and then watch this year's video, yes, I intentionally decided to switch up, because last year the tour I started north of Rockingham and finished west. This year I started the tour southwest of Rockingham and went north and east. So there you go. Well, this is very pretty. We're on the southern edge of the Uwharrie Mountains. These mountains get up to about 1,000 feet above sea level, and this is end road work, so I assume the road's going to come through here. There's really no road bed or anything. A lot of trees they still got to cut, so yeah, they're definitely this portion of the bypass. Yeah, they're definitely taking their sweet time with. Let's see. Where do I need to? Okay, so up here, back on the Carthage Creek again, man. Okay. Reset my mileage meter. Okay. But I'll tell you a story. Before COVID hit, most of the road projects here around North Carolina, they were building them. They were opening everything up like 6 months ahead of time. They were 6 months ahead of schedule. A lot of your road construction projects, especially with the Greenville bypass, the Greensboro urban loop, and the Fayetteville loop. Of course, Greensboro loop, they're not done with that project yet. Before COVID hit, they had a goal to try to get that done by the end of this year. But from what I've seen of pictures and video of the construction site, I don't think they're going to get that done until probably mid-2023 now. So they're running behind on that one. The Fayetteville loop. Make sure I know where we're going. Okay. So now the Fayetteville loop, that's still, well, there's a portion of it that looked like it was going to be done in 2024, but now they're having some funding issues. That's more of a state funding issue. They might not get done in 2026 now. So this is, I believe, Dockery Road. It's unmarked, but that's why I go on Google Maps ahead of time and I measure out the distance of these roads, because a lot of them, these rural areas, just they're unsigned. So there you go. Anyway, okay. Zachary Road. So I talked about this a little bit, what the purpose of this project is in my last video, but I'll go over it again because it's important. You're traveling, if you look at a map of North Carolina and you notice you got right smack dab in the middle of the state, you got Interstate 73, 74, and the interstate ends right just north of Rockingham and then goes to a 4-lane arterial boulevard. Still 50 miles an hour, that goes straight directly through the center of Rockingham, and then you get right back on the southern Rockingham bypass there, back to a freeway interstate. So you think, well, why the East Project? Well, about 3.5 years ago, I was in the process of relocating North Carolina, and I really wanted to move to Greensboro, and ultimately I did. But at the time, I couldn't find good housing in Greensboro. So I looked at Fayetteville, and I was having a debate between the two. Harrington Road, by the way. We're on. Having a debate between the two. I took a long way back, Fayetteville to Greensboro. I went south on a couple little back roads over to 74 around Lumberton, and went south, went west towards Charlotte. But as I was coming to Rockingham, the main road that you take to get from the 74 corridor north to Greensboro, Rockingham, you got to take that. You got to get off at US 1, and then that'll come back to Interstate 73, 74 north. Hope you find one here. But the exit ramp was backed up a good mile and a half for people trying to turn right and go north on US 1 there. And then this right here is a bridge that's been built now in anticipation of this bypass, probably about a good 15-20 years now. But we're going over, you might be able to see the road bed and everything, maybe not, but yeah, pretty cool. But anyway, they're building that bypass so they don't have a big backup at that interchange anymore. People can go around Rockingham and have at it. Crestview Drive, Crestview Baptist Church. And it's also long-term, the purpose of the project is to, it's about completing Interstate 73. And it's supposed to go from Myrtle Beach up until somewhere in Ohio, I believe. But the state that's most serious about I-73 is North Carolina out of all those states. And I mean, South Carolina is a little bit, but I guess South Carolina is, but they're, just gotta get their ducks in a row with funding. They already got the environmental permit, and it's just a matter of getting the funding now and building the darn road. Ohio and West Virginia are really not too serious about I-73. And Virginia is not so much either. But the I-73 corridor was created about 30 years ago by the federal government as a way, as an addition to the interstate highway system. But I'm 35 years old. In my lifetime, I think pretty optimistic North Carolina will. They don't have too much left to build out of I-73. They just got like 10 miles from Rockingham to the South Carolina border, and they probably got about maybe 20 miles from Rockingham County north of Greensboro to the Virginia line. So in my lifetime, I think North Carolina will get their portion of 73 done. South Carolina, I believe, will too. Might take another 20 years to get the road built, but I think they will. But West Virginia, Ohio, Virginia, I'm not too optimistic about with that. Okay, well, that'll conclude our second edition of the Rockingham Northwest Bypass Tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, I welcome them. I even welcome criticism as well. You know what? I'm giving you one more pass through here of this interchange of Cartilage Creek, and then we'll wrap it up. You definitely interact with me on YouTube. I'm trying to do better about getting around to comments and questions that people have. Criticism, LOL. Some of you are downright rude, but it is what it is. Okay. Have a great day. As Ellen DeGeneres says, be kind to one another.